So everybody knows Chimera Ant is peak, but I feel like Poof gets way too much hate. People be talking, and I've seen some people even be like, why did we need so many scenes of Poof? He's so corny, he's so lame, blah, blah, blah. Poof low-key became the main antagonist of the arc, if you really think about it. Like, once the arc shifted from deal with the ant situation and avenge Kite to Meruem ultimately not trying, but like transforming and gaining his humanity, the main obstacle to that was Poof. And Poof was doing all this underhanded and manipulative stuff to try and prevent that, to prevent him from meeting Komugi, etc. But I think this is one of the most memorable and best like villain defeat scenes in anime, is when this is right after Welfine confronts Meruem. So Meruem was like, yo, at him like he was gonna eat him, and Welfine was like searching what's the one word that can like spare my life, and then he says Komugi, and that triggers the king's memory, triggers everything, and then Poof has ultimately failed the game with the king, and the king his heart has become like a human instead of a monstrous ant king that Poof wanted and believed was superior. Welfine actually takes a step further and threatens the king, which should be met with instant death. Meruem would have done previously, and as Poof would have wanted, but instead Meruem actually empathizes with Welfine and then hopes that he really can live as a human and meet back with Gyro. And when Meruem goes that far, not just walking to Komugi, but then showing that empathy, putting him on the same level, the humility, that's when Poof fully crashes and cries. And then he dies right there from the poison later on. He was already doomed regardless, but what really took his spirit in his last bit of fighting was that empathy for Meruem. And it's so twisted, because what he ultimately hated, what Meruem became, was actually a beautiful, complex, deep person who had love, and not the slightest bit physically weaker. But he had rejected what he was meant to be, and while Poof can feel so ridiculous and outlandish, there actually is a lot of real-world Poof who worship a superior or a supremacy, and who would hate to see the ideals of person they put atop be shown to be equal or to show humility or whatever. For example, there's plenty of people who worship the empires in their country who hate when those empires acknowledge that they previously conquered or colonized or did terrible things to different people, right? There's even a video right now, this could sound like a crazy connection, but it's kind of like the same vibe, of a bunch of British people like bootlicking the king, and then somebody asked him a question about like, what did you know about Prince Andrew and Epstein, and then all the bootlickers start booing. Like, there's way more Poofs, and I think the fact that he irritates the people is a sign of his good writing, because it's a part of a lot of people that